and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And for this Easter episode, we watched Chicken Run. So what's everyone's nostalgia for this? Because I definitely had this, it was either on VHS or DVD, and I watched it a lot. And the last time I watched it was at Easter in 2013, because I decided it was an Easter film because it's got chickens in it.
Yeah, and you're wrong. It's a Christmas film.
It's a Christmas film for me too, actually.
Good. Okay. Cool. So it's not me being the weird one.
It definitely was always on TV at Christmas because The Great Escape is also a Christmas film.
Yep.
And also the other Aardman classic of Wallace and Gromit is also on at Christmas all the time.
Everything. Every plasticine movie is a Christmas movie because of Wallace and Gromit.
Sure.
It is.
I had no idea this was DreamWorks. That I had totally erased from my brain.
I think it was DreamWorks because they wanted it to sell in America.
Oh, okay. And no one had heard of Aardman.
Yeah, well, yeah, Aardman and British Pathé, because that was the UK people who funded it. Was British Pathé, which, as far as I can tell, just make historical British stuff.
Yeah, they also did the Aardman work on Wallace and Gromit.
Well, yeah, it's a fucking weird film. It's so. Is it? For anyone,
I think it's quite cute.
No, I will prove to you it's a weird film. Then, if you think it's not a weird film,
apart from it's prisoner of war chickens.
Yeah, it's The Great Escape, but with chickens, and they almost kill some people. It's weird that they decided to make what is essentially a war crime film.
Well, I think it's because it's a parody, and it is really, really silly. That it is a kids' film because the stakes aren't real or high, even though you're told they are, because they're like
stakes.
Chicken thighs. The chicken thighs are. I just think it's such a joyful film. I had such a nice time watching it. It's so much of my humour, growing up, is from Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run.
Oh, definitely. The most memorable quotes of I don't want to be a pie. I don't like gravy.
That great.
It's just always in
yeah. Chickens go in, pies come out. What flavour?
Mr. Tweedy is the best dumb husband character.
Mr. Tweedy is incredible.
Them chickens are up to something. It's brilliant. I love that it's so silly, and these chickens have so much personality, and including different accents, wildly varying accents.
Well, yeah, because they're British chickens. They have to present all of the British Isles. I love the Scottish chicken is the best one.
Mac.
Yeah, who I looked it up and was originally meant to be called Mac for McNugget. Wasn't allowed to. They changed that.
Yeah, I do find it a little bit weird now that I'd watch this film and be, definitely on side chicken, and then we'd have a roast dinner.
Yeah, but it's kids. It's kids stuff. Chickens don't actually do that, and
what?
that's also not how.
Chickens couldn't build a plane if they wanted to.
It's also not how pies are made. It's also
the pie
you
machine
don't get
is
one
great,
machine.
though.
Do you think the pie machine was made by Wallace?
Well, no.
As was his his knitting machine thing.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it just repurposed that because it
Was it the Woolomatic or?
Yeah.
From what I remember, it was made by a company called Product Productions, and that's great.
Oh yeah, that really killed me when she's like, I'm sick and tired of making minuscule profits, and the magazine it's just there sick and tired of making minuscule profits.
Great. Well, we should go through the story of this film.
Yeah. So it starts with a chicken trying to escape the chicken farm, and it's not a nice chicken farm. It's got prisoner of war camp vibes.
Yeah, it's a World War II war camp vibe.
These are free-range chickens. They're not caged birds, but there's no grass. It's all quite sad. There's a lot of galvanised fencing and barbed wire.
It is really impressive how they made what is essentially a chicken coop look and feel like a World War II prisoner of war camp.
Yeah.
It really did, and I can't quite put my finger on what exactly about it makes it feel like that.
I think it's partly the colour palette as well, with how just grey and miserable and brown it is, and you can always see like the nice sort of colourful hills and that in the background to like contradict
Yeah,
it,
that's true.
and just how dreary it looks.
Yeah.
But then instead of sad prisoners of war, we have happy, fluffy, feathery chickens.
Yeah.
They're not as feathery as I remembered. I think actually that would be quite a mean feat for stop motion.
Yeah, that'd be really,
Plasticine.
really impressive to make just plasticine and I think lycra.
Yeah. I wasn't sure how much. Yeah, what else they did alongside the plasticine.
So I read about it. The heads and the arms were plasticine. The bodies were like a solid material that they covered in like lycra or something like that.
Yeah, I suppose the actual bodies, they don't really need to move
No,
too
they don't
much, otherwise
move.
you're just going to get them covered in fingerprints.
Yeah, which is again still impressive that any human being ever can work with plasticine and it not be covered in fingerprints, because
Yeah.
you look at it wrong and it's got fingerprints on it.
Do you think to get into Aardman you have to like pour pineapple like just straight onto your
To
fingers?
get rid of
Yeah,
your
they Men in
fingers.
Black your fingertips.
Yeah, it's gotta burn off your fingertips, and now you can work with the plasticine.
Probably.
So there's the leader of the pack, Ginger, a helpfully ginger chicken
Yep.
with a little green crochet hat, because one of the chickens is really into knitting.
Which she's actually this film is full of like weird little things that the production did. Like that's actually knitting someone did. They just did it real small, and they used like toothpicks to do it. Like it's a little like really little really impressive
Oh,
things.
that's lovely. So Ginger, she wants to escape, but she doesn't just want to escape. She wants everyone to escape and all of the birds to be free birds. Because she knows that she could get out and probably run away, but that isn't good enough for her, because when the chickens don't lay enough eggs, Mrs. Tweedy kills them.
Yeah.
And
chops
they're
their head
pretty.
off.
They're for a kids' film. It's not shied away from. We in fact see the corpse of one of the chickens, the bones. They've had a roast dinner. And we have the first kind of montage scene at the start, which is great, it's just so reference heavy, but it's all of Ginger's various escape attempts, followed by periods in solitary confinement, which is a coal
like
shed.
a coal shed, and she's just thrown into it.
And I love that the Mr. Tweedy keeps putting her in, and he has this real vendetta against Ginger. He knows
wouldn't
he knows she's the ringleader.
Like
But
wouldn't
no one else believes it.
I imagine Mr. Tweedy goes a bit insane.
Oh, he
because
does. He definitely does.
like the chickens are up to something. He's correct.
Well, there's the bit where he's working on the pie machine, and the rats come and steal his toys, hiding in garden gnomes, and he's just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, gnomes now," and like rubs his eyes, and it's just like,
Those rats are incredible.
The
Fletcher
rats
and
are-
Nick, just like
Yeah.
they're brilliant.
Amazing characters.
If there weren't enough great characters in this already, I'd kind of forgotten about them because it had been a while. Like I used to watch this, I'd say at least every couple of years, but it was pretty. I remember like back before. I think we had a PlayStation and DVD players, but we mostly at Christmas would just watch whatever was on. And Chicken Run was inevitably always on, and that was the one that I'd actually sit and watch, like that and Love Actually. And then Great Escape, I used to watch like the beginning, then go and like play with my toys or eat chocolate or whatever, and then 3 hours later come back and all the parents would be asleep.
yeah. You've already seen Great Escape. You watched Chicken Run.
But yeah, all the references in this film, like there's more that I get each time, and that's what I've really enjoyed about rewatching it this time as well. There was another joke that this is the first time I've got it, which I guess is a bit embarrassing, but the fact that that Rocky, this cockerel that crash lands in their chicken farm, he's called the Lone Free Ranger.
Yeah.
Free range chicken. Yeah, the first time I got that joke, that one totally blew me by.
There are so many good, like, really subtle jokes. Like, one of the chickens says, "I don't think he's American."
Yes.
Which is like a joke at Mel Gibson, because everyone says that Mel Gibson probably is Australian and not American. There's dumb stuff like that.
Oh,
They
and
do it
the
with
rat's called Ginger, Attila the hen.
Yep. But so the rats in the story are wheeler dealers. They like buy and sell things, and they really want eggs for some reason.
Because
Yeah.
they're
Like,
delicious.
I have no idea
really-
why.
I
They
think
will
because
do
they're
anything
tasty.
for the egg.
They've got no way of cooking them though.
No.
Do they like eating raw eggs?
Yeah, I mean they are mice. Rats.
Yeah.
They're rats.
Yeah, they're rats. Yeah.
They're rats. Yeah, they just like buy and sell things from the chickens.
Yeah. And that's how Rocky ends up sort of conning them, because he's like, can you get me all these things? I'll give you all the eggs that I lay this week.
Yeah. So yeah, they do all of the stuff.
They've basically
They-
given up hope at this point.
Yeah. Ginger's given up hope. The rest of the chickens don't really care. They're not really thinking about it, apart from Mac Nugget, who is actually also trying to come up with a plan. McNugget is a Mac is a scientist chicken, Scottish giant scientist chicken.
Always wearing big like glasses and like tinkering with things and creating inventions.
Incredible. Still wears those glasses around Mr. and Mrs. Tweedy.
Yeah, they've just,
Never click onto it though, do they? Never clock onto it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, get out.
But
So then Rocky Rocky, he flies over the fence and then gets distracted, caught in a not turbine, what are they called?
no, wind turbine.
That would be messier.
Boeing 747 goes by.
Weather vane.
Yeah, that's the one. And ends up crash landing and hurting his arm or wing in front of Ginger, but she's seen him fly. And chickens, rather famously, can't fly.
Famous for not flying. Yeah. She gets him. No, he's about to leave. He says, "Sorry, your problem. Gonna leave," because he's a dick. And then when he's about to exit, the circus turns up, and no, they go into Mr. and Mrs. Tweedy's house, and Ginger kind of blackmails him into helping out.
Yeah, she's like, oh, if you don't help us escape, I'll call attention and show them that you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she starts clucking really loudly, which I just think is great because, would you pay attention to that on a chicken farm?
I guess at like midnight, when there's also a
Rooster on the loose.
circus in your house, and the circus is saying there's a rooster that we launched this way.
Yeah.
What was happening? What
Did they?
what
Was it
going
like?
on?
Was it supposed to be strategic, and it went wrong? Did they normally have someone with like a big net to like catch him a certain distance away? Is it like a good show to see an animal projected out of a cannon?
I don't want to see a rooster being shot out. I assume it was Rocky trying to escape from
Possibly.
the circus.
There is a pretty horrible bit where we see him having like a nightmare flashback.
Yeah.
I missed that one. I missed before as well. I think because I'm quite good. I think at watching films when I was younger and having totally forgotten everything that had happened and being pleasantly surprised each time. But this time when he's like, "No, don't put me in there. It's cold and dark. What's that funny smell?" And it's like obviously that's him being shoved into a cannon.
Yeah.
Like, that circus is just a shit circus.
Yeah.
First of all, shit circus. They're shooting a bird out of a cannon. Who actively wants
And also,
to
isn't
see
that over
that?
like really quickly as well? Like how much
Yeah.
of that show is actually visible?
Because no,
If I want to see animal
roosters-
torture, I want to see it for a while. I want to get my money worth.
Roosters also, roosters aren't big. They're also birds. Like, I know they're flightless bird, but if someone said, "Oh, they're going to make a bird fly," I'd be like, "Wow, how exciting!"
To be fair, if I could see a penguin fly,
By being shot out of a cannon,
no, I'd want something more impressive.
yeah, I'd like to see it actually fly, not like, "Oh, we're going to fire this rooster out of a cannon and give it a pun as a name." That's it. That's as far as I can tell. Because it's not even like a little bit of the circus. Like, it gets a big billboard and posters. Like, that's the main attraction.
Oh yeah.
It's shit. Like, how bad is the rest of it that firing a rooster out of a cannon is the attraction? What the fuck else is going on in this
They've also
circus?
got the amazing underwater fish.
Yeah, the amazing swimming fish and the tree climbing monkey. Ooh. The problem is it's all done with cannons.
Yeah.
It's the same
Huge
cannon.
firing a monkey into a tree.
Yeah, it's about a half-an-hour show. What they do is they fire a rooster out of a cannon, then they aim the cannon at a swimming pool, and they shoot a fish out, and then they aim it at a tree.
Or maybe it's
Fire
just
them.
flying animals.
This would be very different if instead of Rocky, it was a monkey that came over the fence. It's like, yeah, just climb.
Well, if
Just
you can get a
climb.
monkey to fly, you can make a chicken. Like you can surely, Mr. Monkey, you can teach us chickens how to fly.
Also much harder to hide a monkey.
In my head, the monkey can't talk, even though the chickens can talk.
Yeah, it just stares at them. In my head it was one of the sign language monkey from
What's it called?
Escape to... No. What is it called?
Madagascar. I wanna say
Madagascar.
Zoolander. It's not Zoolander.
Not Zoolander. Yeah, no, the sign language monkey from Zoolander. No, it was that one from Madagascar. So while they're talking to it, it's just doing sign language, and they don't, because their chickens.
So Rocky gets press ganged into
Yep.
making this decision to help teach these chickens how to fly.
Knowing full well he can't fly.
Yes.
Rocky's a bad person.
He's a bad person, but he's also in a bit of a, he's in a bit of a bind.
Is he? Because he could just leave. Why is he sticking around is what I want to know.
Because he wants to fuck Ginger.
He does want to fuck Ginger.
And all the other birds as well. Like, at one point he's having a bubble bath and a massage from one
That's
of them.
true. That is true. Because he should probably just leave the next night. Because he can't help them. Because the chickens, the thing is, chickens individually can get out.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. That's a problem that Rocky points out. Is like, you can just walk, you can just leave. And Ginger says, no, it's either everyone or no one. Like, fuck yes, Ginger. Which I assume is something from The Great Escape.
I mean,
probably.
The Great Escape is like as many of them try and escape as possible. Like,
Yeah.
however, I think you.
I mean, it's probably a lot darker. I imagine
it's a bit harder
probably
to
a lot darker.
escape from the prisoner of war camp.
Yeah, I imagine it's a lot
It's not
darker.
just Mr. Tweedy and two dogs.
Mr. and Mrs. Tweedy are married, right? They're a married couple. Okay.
She married into that because he was an egg farmer. His dad was an egg farmer. His dad before him was an egg farmer. And Mrs. Tweedy married this man for some reason.
I hope that this was mentioned at some point in the film and you just didn't read, like, the background novel. Was this mentioned in the film?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just didn't pay attention.
Yeah, well, they're arguing like when she's saying that she wants to go into pies, and he's
Yeah.
like, but we've always been egg farmers.
Yeah, it's still... It's
But yeah, the
weird
love
that-
is long gone in that marriage.
Well, it's
Yeah,
weird that they
she
call
must have thought that eggs was a good business that you could make a lot of money from.
I mean, it's a consistent business.
It is. And you don't have to kill as many chickens. They can start the like pie thing, but once they run out of chickens, they need to get more chickens.
We'll get to that because they do something very, very stupid in business sense wise. But before that, they call each other Mr. and Mrs. Tweedy, which
Yes, I
is
love.
very upsetting throughout. Because they're a married couple. Why are they referring to each other as Mr. and Mrs. Tweedy when
I think
no one
because
else is around?
it's a kids movie, and adults are Mr. and Mrs. ... It reminds me of like in the Beano how like parents are pretty much exclusively called like Dennis's mum or
Yeah,
whatever. They're never given names.
very upsetting to watch as an adult though. If I knew someone, I would never refer to them by their surname when no one else was around. That would be very strange. And if someone did that to me, if someone said "oh" and then referred to their partner as like Mr. or Mrs., I'd be like, no, I don't want to hang out with you anymore.
Something's wrong with you.
Yeah, there's something up in that relationship, and I don't fancy being around it. That was it. That was all I wanted to point out about those two.
They're great
fucking
characters.
weird.
She's
It's
so
fucking weird.
evil,
No, they're amazing.
and he's so like he's kind of evil. It's like he's not blameless. Like he keeps throwing this chicken
He's an
in-
idiot.
in solitary confinement. But to be fair, he has got his work cut out. These chickens do come up with some fantastic ways of escaping.
Yeah, no, he is a very stupid man though, and he is just being a person. Like these are chickens. He is a human. He can't logically say they are scheming. Yeah, they're scheming to escape in the weirdest ways possible.
My favourite is definitely when they make themselves into a three dwarfs in a trench coat version of Mrs. Tweedy.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
But with like nine chickens.
Yeah, horrifying. So yeah, after what happens next?
So Rocky tries to sort of teach them how to fly under the guise that he can't show them because he hurt his wing when he crash landed.
Yeah, and at some point we learn that his wing is fine. He is just pretending.
But the training scenes are brilliant.
Training sequences, fucking amazing.
The bit where Ginger thinks she's flying and she's actually just on a pile of chickens.
Yep. Also, the bit where they're exercising and Ginger looks back and Rocky's just watching the chickens from behind, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons he stays, is because, like, as far as he's concerned, until he falls for Ginger, he has got a pretty sweet deal.
Oh yeah, no, it's the best life for him.
Like
Surrounded by a
he's
bunch of
surrounded by
chicks.
chicks that love him, and you know they all get giggly and flustered.
Apart from the other rooster, which we haven't mentioned yet.
Fowler, yes.
Fowler,
Fowler
oh,
is
he's
amazing.
brilliant.
Fowler is a retired ex-war pilot, or like
Yeah,
He was in the
XRAF.
RAF.
yeah,
military.
XRAF. Hates him, hates Rocky, can see he's a liar. It's fucking amazing.
Well, he hates him because he's American. He calls him a Yank like throughout.
Does call him a Yank because he is.
Well, he is, yeah.
Yeah, Fowler's incredible. I also just got his name. Uh, like that joke just hit me.
Do you know that the title is actually a pun on where the chickens live and
Yeah.
what they're trying to do?
No, I know. I know that, but I literally just got Fowler.
But yeah,
don't pay
Fowler
attention to
going like
names.
cock-a-doodle-doo. What?
Incredible.
Brilliant. We quoted
Incredible.
that a lot as kids.
I like that his wardrobe is a bomb. It's like a
Yes.
bomb case.
Yeah, he's just got a bomb in there.
Which, again, the Mr. and Mrs. Tweedy do not notice. that his-
Maybe it came with him when they
has
got
a
him.
small they decided. I like to think that they just decided to decorate his office, his office, his
Coop.
place, his coop. Because in like modern, because they don't like need him. He just they just need the eggs, so he gets the nice decorations. Also, yeah, no, I don't think he's meant to be there. I think he gets in with them because there are times when he needs to hide as well. I
I
assume.
think they were sort of all hiding so they didn't see that all the chickens were for some reason in one little chicken house.
Oh, at one point they were hiding, but yeah, because they were just having their meeting and they had all their the plans out and everything. So then they had to do the speedy conversion, including putting a teapot. Because they have to have tea at these meetings. Putting the teapot in the chicken bed.
And
Yeah.
luckily Babs has knitted a little chicken face for it that they put on.
Which again, Mr. Tweedy starts to look
That's
at,
a real teapotty looking chicken.
and gets called away by his wife, and who he names Mrs. Tweedy. Fucking strange. There's something going on in that relationship.
Yeah, he gets cocked almost nightly.
Oh, it does make you think of that, doesn't it? I wasn't going to say it. It is happening.
Anyway, so they finish making the machine as they're training.
At one point, they do taekwondo.
Yeah. Oh, I love the bit where they're all doing push-ups and Mr. Tweedy sees them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What?" And then they're just like walking around again.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the montage ends. They have a catapult.
Yeah, they've got a catapult because they need more thrust.
More thrust.
Oh yeah, because Mrs. Tweedy has come out to measure the fattest chickens and starts giving them more feed because they want to fatten them
Yeah,
up for
yeah,
pie.
well-
Yeah, they realise that the stakes have got a little bit higher.
The chickens.
The chicken thighs have got they've got higher because she's moving the business from chicken eggs to chicken pies, and all of them are now at risk rather than just being one a week for their Sunday roast. Because it used to be whoever laid the least eggs
Yeah.
or had stopped laying that would get the chop, and now it's like, well, they're all gonna get killed.
Which is stupid because the plan is because they buy a pie machine, chicken pie machine. It's a very specific machine by Product Productions Company.
Yeah, the only difference between that and the steak pie machine is the size of the hole you put the animal in.
It's a hell of a machine if it does all of that.
But yeah, it's amazing. It does full chicken prep, and literally chickens go in, pies come out. It's a feat of modern engineering.
Yeah, then you also put in a load of uncooked vegetables.
Well, it goes in the oven, which
Yeah.
leads to one of my favourite lines where Rocky and Ginger are trapped in the oven, and he goes, oh, "It's like an oven in here."
So they, whilst the practice is going on and they're learning to fly, the Tweedies are planning to kill and eat all of the chickens. Which, their plan is to kill all of the chickens at once.
I guess then they were going to buy in new ones.
Yeah, they never talk about that. Is that their retirement plan? Is
Do they need to talk about it? Like, how ironed out did you want their chicken pie production?
well, they bought a billboard, right?
True.
Like they bought because Rocky escaped. Rocky's like, I need to leave. I can't stay and help. Because
Because it's after they've been caught in the machine. He helps Ginger escape, and they break the machine.
they discover that he can't fly and he's been lying to them the entire time.
Yeah.
Yes.
They find basically it's the day after they find out his wings better. He's supposed to show them how to fly, but instead he does a runner and leaves behind like half of a poster that shows the canon half of him, because the other poster that they'd seen just has him flying.
Yeah.
So it sort
That's
of
it.
it explains without having to leave a little chicken note. He never actually knew how to fly.
Which is really good storytelling. Like it just
Yeah,
is. It's really, really
well
good
And the way that
storytelling.
Ginger walks past all the chickens holding it, and you see it from her point of view.
Yeah, it's great.
And just everyone's slowly getting more disappointed. Like the lightning strikes in the background, just as it's
Yeah.
like all as they realise, and it's like,
Yeah, it's
yes, they're
really
all
good
pies.
storytelling. the Tweedies bought a billboard to sell their chicken pies.
But they need to fix the machine because
They
it's
broke
been
it.
broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, they broke it whilst they were doing their Great Escape, or not Great Escape, doing their reference.
It was the
to
Indiana Jones reference.
Yeah.
You have the classic Ginger has to rescue Rocky. Rocky does fuck all, essentially, trying to rescue her. She's not a damsel in distress at all, Ginger, which I think is great. But yeah, her hat falls off as she's carrying Rocky through to get out of the oven.
Yeah, because he's falling over into every pie.
Yeah, every single pie. And he's covered in gravy. But yeah, her hat falls off and her little, matchstick knitted hat. And then she grabs that, and then there's like basically the spanner that she used to wedge open the door pings off and gets lodged in something else, which causes everything to fall apart, which does make you question Mr. Tweedy's putting together abilities. But also, to be fair, there's a lot of moving parts in this
It's a
machine.
very complicated machine. And then they escape. The machine is busted. Yeah, then
So they
Rocky
bought
leaves.
themselves some
Yeah,
time.
and then Rocky leaves.
Yeah. Rocky leaves.
But yeah, Rocky leaves. So, we've missed out the part where Ginger, just before this, Ginger tells them all about the pie plan.
Yes.
And that they're all going to die, and all the chickens get really depressed,
They do.
Yeah.
including the knitting one knits a little noose. Which
Oh,
is
fuck,
just
she
one
does,
of
doesn't
the best
she?
visual joke in the film.
Oh, that's awful. I just remembered that she does that. Oh, man.
And
That's
it's
so
pink and blue
sad.
stripes.
It's so sad.
Imagine just like opening your chicken coop and there's just a chicken hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah. How did it make the news?
You'd have a lot of questions, because also it's not
So
clear
many
how
questions.
a bird with wings knits.
Yeah, that's the first question: is how did it knit this thing? But yeah, how did it tie
many
it to the so many questions that would raise so many unanswerable questions if you found a chicken killed by a hanging noose.
Anyway, they decide that they wanna they realise all along they had Fowler here, and what did he do? He was in the RAF, which
Yeah,
they
what
hadn't
does
questioned
RAF
before.
stand for? Well, they didn't know what it stood for.
Yeah, so he flew in planes.
We leave out the best part, which is Rocky cheering them all up by having a dance.
Yes, or they were
Yeah,
Having
having
like
a
little
a
dance party,
1940s dance party.
and they all start tapping their little claws and
And the rats like wire up some Christmas lights and they're like, "Do you want to dance?" Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
It's
the
such a
rats are
nice
very
party. Such a nice party. Yeah, and then they realise Fowler's actually, he's an RAF guy. So they rebuild one of his flying.
Yeah, Mac
What?
designs a
Build a
plane.
What
out of
happened?
chicken
No,
bits.
I wanna come back a little bit because it's just hit me what this story is. So humans exist in this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Humans are real. Mr. and Mrs. Tweedy are two examples of this.
Correct.
Yeah, with you so far.
Fowler is proof that World War II happened.
Yep.
What was World War II in this world? Because Fowler is a chicken.
He's a
Chickens
mascot.
weren't.
Chickens were used as mascots.
Okay.
Briefly. It like
Okay.
not like a lot, but it was a thing.
So Fowler was in the army.
It was in
Yeah,
the RAF.
he says when they find out, spoilers for later on, that he actually can't fly.
Yeah, no,
planes
he
'cause
doesn't
he's a
fly
rooster.
because
Yeah, he's not a
He's
pilot.
like-
Not a
Yeah,
pilot.
he's like, I was. He's like, yeah, I was in the mascot division.
That's so fucked.
How long do roosters live for? Because
Not
how
long.
long after World War II is chicken
Ah,
set? Hang
It's
on.
Oh, I
we
don't
don't
know.
know. It's up in the
Lifespan.
air. No one's talking about it.
On average, roosters live 5 to 8 years, and the longest they'll live in captivity is 15 years.
Nice.
So,
So,
like, that's a good
This
enough
is
amount of
set in
time.
like maybe the 1950s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Early 50s. Fine. He's quite an old rooster, isn't he? So
No, yeah, no. Now I'm like actually like thinking about it. I'm like, why are they dancing like they're in the 1940s during? Because it's a reference. Rocky is a reference to the British soldiers, the American soldiers coming over to Britain.
yes,
Because
overpaid and oversexed.
yeah, Fowler uses the famous like World War II line, which is overpaid and oversexed, which is a weird
And
thing
late.
to put in this film. Which is like a weird reference to put in a kids' film.
Yeah, oversexed. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that just went straight over my head as a kid, though.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's like the point of the reference, and it makes me think if it's post World War II, why is he still it's fine. It's fine. It's a kids' film. Stop thinking
It's a
about
kids'
it.
film where they build an aeroplane out of like bits of chicken coop. I don't
Yes.
think it's going to be like
Yes.
An
So, yeah.
aeroplane, a pedal-powered aeroplane that flaps.
Yes. That's how planes work. I mean, they based it off of a chicken, and chickens famously fly, as we know from the entire rest of this film.
So yeah, the race is on. Basically, they have to build this plane, get all the materials before the machine is fixed, and it is right down to the second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get it built, and they start to try and escape. They have a summer deck chair, which is like that gives me flashbacks because I haven't seen one of those chairs in years and years.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen one of those chairs in like 10 years.
You can still rent them in like some beaches in Kent.
No, I know. I assumed you could. I didn't assume that they stopped making them. They would just disintegrated.
they all got used as ramps for aeroplanes. They have that, and they have some like planks of wood on it. They've got the Christmas lights like as the runway.
Yeah.
And then as they start it, Mr. and Mrs. Tweedy notice that the chickens have made a fucking aeroplane.
Yeah.
Well, first Mr. Tweedy notices, and he upsets the deck chair so that they won't have their takeoff, and Ginger has to get off and try and save the day.
Which is like
Before
the
that, we get the
tensest
bit-
thing.
We get the bit what the chickens should have done in the first place, where they all beat the shit out of Mr. Tweedy
Yeah, they
and
do.
like tie him up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because they catch him first, don't they? Like he catches them in the middle of it, and he's so like vindicated, and then they all attack him.
Oh, imagine getting beaten up by a load
They
of
tie
chickens.
ropes
Yeah.
around him and gag him.
It'd be, you'd never get
Imagine if
over
they'd have
that.
done that and then just all walked out the door. Like,
No,
Well,
you
there's
could
still
do
the
that. I
dogs
think,
and Mrs. Tweedy.
yeah, I think
fine,
you could
yeah.
do that to Mr. Tweedy. Mrs. Tweedy the ruthless.
no.
Mrs. Tweedy will like wring you any chicken's neck in a heartbeat.
Yeah, because she comes out with an axe while Ginger is trying to lift up the deck chair again.
And
Yeah.
guess who? She can't lift it on her own because,
No, she
she's only a
can't.
chicken. But who's there to help? Rocky's come back.
Rocky, yeah. So he helps.
So
Flies
he
over
he takes out
a hill on
Tweedy.
his tricycle.
Yes, Tweedy is trying to kill Ginger with an axe. She almost does, and she gets hit in face by a tricycle.
Yeah,
But
because
Rocky
Yeah,
is
can
coming.
ride
Rocky-
a tricycle.
Can ride a tricycle. To be honest, at
every
this point,
chicken can.
yeah, sure.
Every rooster can. Which you get the moment where the axe goes up into the air, and it looks like it's going to hit and kill her. Which in the original script it did.
Oh, did it?
They straight up killed her at that point in the film.
Was that cut as being too gory?
Yeah, they were like, we can't put that in the
R-rated
film.
chicken run.
Apparently, there's a couple times where this got real gory originally, and they had to change it. I issue because plasticine gore is something that I kind of want to see, but I also don't. But yeah, they escape the. Well, we think they escape. The thing flies away. Rocky and Ginger are holding on to the Christmas tree lights. Rocky gets onto the plane.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Ship. It's not a ship. The chicken plane. And then they realize Mrs. Tweedy is holding on to the. Which this has some lift if it's holding.
I mean, it's at least 30 chicken power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're all peddling their little legs away.
Yeah,
Except
chickens.
Babs. If you look closely, Babs isn't actually
not-
peddling.
Yeah, because her legs are too short. They send her down. They send Ginger down with some knitting scissors
Yeah.
to try and cut
There's like
cut
safety
through.
scissors.
Yeah, the wire. And Miss Tweedy has the axe, and she's trying to swing at Ginger. And brave little Ginger lets her take a swing at her neck.
And
Yeah.
you see, and it looks like she's cut Ginger's head off.
And I believed that every time as a kid.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought that
Genuinely-
Ginger had her head chopped off.
It's actually a really tense. Like we're laughing. This is such a good film, and this
Yeah,
scene
like,
is
it's
like
so
the
tense because, like,
tensest thing.
There's all the build up of the music, and then at that moment, the music just cuts out.
Yeah,
And it's just quiet as you're like, oh shit, what?
yeah. Ginger's like has no head, is there on the cable, and then like
And she makes this horrible like squeak sound as well.
yeah, and then Ginger looks up because she ducked her head, and she's holding the two ends of the cable,
Which
and
means
she
that
lo-
she's somehow
Yeah,
holding
no.
Mrs. Tweedy.
Something I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
she couldn't lift up the
She's
deck
currently
chair
holding the
one
weight
hand.
of Mrs. Tweedy in one
in one
hand.
wing.
In one winged, feathered hand.
So much adrenaline going through that chicken.
And then she just lets go of it and kills Mrs. Tweedy.
She
Yeah,
doesn't
Mrs.
die.
Tweedy lands
She falls into the gravy.
into the like
That's it.
pressure release valve where there's
Yeah, 'cause
boiling gravy.
she's gonna
slowly heading
survive
towards her
that.
face. Yeah,
She's
it'd
good
melt
as-
her face off for sure, especially since she's made of plasticine.
She's also in a pressurized canister.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah,
that
the
reaches
you've
the
got the gravy pressure. What's it called? Barometer?
Yeah, because I mean that would be a worry if you've got a gravy bomb waiting to go off.
Yeah.
And it does. And the whole place is exploded.
Yeah.
Not in
there's
a, not
just
in
like
a
a
human
gravy
killing
crater.
explosion-y way, but just in a
And it
everything
destroys
else.
the entire house, kind of way.
Yeah, it destroys the entire house, all of the brick and mortar. The people are fine though. The people who are stood right next to the explosion, perfectly fine. And
Well,
the dogs,
Mr. Tweedy was the other side of the door, so he's fine.
that's
Yeah.
true. The dogs are the happiest thing on the planet because they just get to eat the gravy, and it's such a good scene. And then we have the final sequence, which is the chickens are free on.
Yeah, we don't see the plane land.
No,
No.
I assume it crashed.
Just before they land, though, there is my second favourite joke, because it's also the only time I got it. This is the first time I've watched it since I got into Star Trek, and Mac has the best, like, I'm giving her all she's got. And they're like, we need more power. And then they're like, oh, we've got to cling on. Because she's clinging on with the...
They had a character with a Scottish accent. They had to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Klingon joke absolutely killed me.
It's such a dumb joke.
Oh no, it's not. It's very clever.
No, it's a dumb
Yeah.
joke.
It's yeah.
But yeah, they're on the final bit is it's brilliant. They're on a nice private island to themselves. One of the chickens, I can never remember the name. One of the chickens says, "It's a really nice holiday. I'm going to be so upset when we go home."
Oh, yeah,
That's
Babs.
The
such a-
Jitsi
Yeah.
one, yeah, Babs, the knitting one.
yeah,
Yeah.
such a great holiday. I'm going to be so upset when we go home.
And isn't she swinging in a swing made of boxes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they've got Fowler telling RAF stories to these little chicks, and then Mac is doing sort of velocity lessons with his little egg flinger.
Yeah, she's just firing baby chicks out into the middle of nowhere.
It's
And then it
very
slowly
cute.
pans down to the rats.
Yeah, 2 rats.
They're having the best argument of they'll start their own chicken farm. One of them's like, yeah, all we need is an egg. And they're like, yeah, but we need a chicken to get the egg. And they're like, no, the chicken comes out of the egg. And that goes on through the entire credits, because
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
post-credits, they're still talking about it.
Yeah, there's a
It's so
post-credit
good.
scene in this film, which is just lovely.
And surprisingly, it's not to set up the sequel. Although this is getting a sequel.
What?
Yeah,
It
no,
is,
they're making
yeah.
a second one on Netflix next year.
Chicken Run: Dawn of the Nugget.
Do you think it's exactly the same, but the pie machine is a chicken nugget machine instead?
I would be fine if it's stop motion animation, it's plasticine, and they're allowed to make what they want to make. I'm up for it. Which it's like it's British Pathé and the animation studio. I think it's fine. I think it'll be good. It's not DreamWorks though. DreamWorks wanted nothing to do with it. No, that's a bad way of putting it. DreamWorks aren't involved.
It's the lady from Westworld as Ginger.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the original Ginger.
They essentially turned around and said that she sounded too old now to play the character, and then she did a reel proving that she can do the voice exactly the same as she did in
Yeah.
the first one. So,
Voice actors.
I don't know.
who were some of the other voice actors in this? Because I know that Mel Gibson is Rocky.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
found that
actually-
out when we did this podcast. I
Yeah,
I
didn't
found out.
realise.
I found out last Christmas because I watched this Christmas because it's a Christmas movie, Dan.
Yeah, but it's
we
got
haven't talked
chickens
about
in
we haven't talked about that yet. You said this was an Easter movie. It is not.
it's got chickens in it.
No, it doesn't. There's no such thing as an Easter movie. I'm just gonna say that out there.
I just wanted to watch Chicken Run, and it seemed like a good excuse.
No, it's fair, but it's not. There's no such thing as as an Easter movie.
No, Rise of the Guardians. That's set at Easter.
It's said at Easter. I would not be like, let's
It's
sit down.
about Easter. They have
Not
to
in-
save Easter.
But you wouldn't sit and be like, let's watch it during Easter. You
It ends
not.
with an Easter egg hunt.
But you don't
It
sit
came
down.
out in the Easter holidays.
Yeah, and The Great Escape isn't a Christmas. It doesn't happen at Christmas. It has nothing to do with Christmas. Yet it's a Christmas movie. It's got nothing to do with the time of year it's set. It's when you watch it, and no one sits down to watch movies at Easter.
No, this film's just genuinely
This film's
great.
amazing. This film is like from that era of like just brilliantly made, fun British movies. This is what I think of when I think of a British movie.
Yeah,
I think of these, and I think of Wallace and Gromit because it's a very like stupid, clever British sense of humor.
Yeah, it's on the surface it looks really dumb, and then
And there are
it's
there are
not.
some
It's
really
really
good
clever,
jokes.
and like it's made by people who love film
yeah.
and are really passionate, and it really comes through.
I mean, if you work in like plasticine stop motion animation. You fucking love film. You have no one does that as like, oh, I hate this job, but I do it anyway.
I wonder how
That
long
job's
it
not
took,
fun.
Like, must have taken so long to do.
Because this was before the fire, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because there was a fire at the studio that burnt everything.
Okay, so it took 18 months to shoot Chicken Run.
Yeah, you don't do that job as like, I hate this job, but I'll do it anyway.
Yeah, you do it.
You've
as,
got to
like,
have a little
this
bit of
is-
passion.
So out of 10, guys, because we've been up and down. I've complained a lot about this film, but out of 10,
No, I really like this. I'm gonna give this 9 out of 10 chicken coop d'états.
When did you come up with that?
About 10 minutes ago.
Fuck's sake. I don't want to do this podcast anymore.
let's move on quickly, and then we can end this now.
I want to give this. Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 film for me.
Yeah,
Sorry, my brain just
I've
switched off.
just completely thrown this entire podcast over.
that one bad joke really hit us. Like we've had a few bad jokes in this episode.
Yeah, I'll give this 10 chicken puns out of 10, or egg puns. The egg puns when the rats are watching them, these chickens trying to fly, and they're just calling them like, oh, that's scrambled egg, when the chicken's like spinning around.
Yeah, that was fully like a thing they did in like the office or the studio while they were writing it, right?
Yeah.
They
most
just like
likely.
threw around egg puns for a bit, and they're like, let's put this in. I think mine is getting into that rare territory of 10 out of 10.
Oh, it's nicer when we enjoy a film, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's
It's
really
very strange.
I
But
feel
yeah,
like
no,
it's like a national treasure. This film, like all of the Aardman stuff, is really.
yeah, because there's nothing like offensive or there's nothing like bad that happens in any. Like they're all great. Anyway,
On
Yeah.
with that.
Well, yeah, I
yeah,
guess
I
with
think
that,
that's a good way to say it.
Let's
Because yeah,
wrap
we
it
are
up,
like,
yeah.
this is a brilliant film.
This film's good.
Watch
Watch
it.
Chicken Run. Yeah,
Yeah, go watch Chicken
We know
Run.
you've
It's a
got
great
time.
film.
Bank holiday weekend.
exactly. It's Easter. Go
It's an Easter movie. You know, famous Easter movies.
Wait, isn't this coming out after Easter?
Yeah.
It'll be Easter Monday, so
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The last day of Easter, you've got time. You've got such little time to listen to it. Go.
exactly. This comes out at 5 o'clock.
Otherwise, you're going to have to wait a whole year.
You have to wait a whole year. Those are the rules of holiday.
Nah, we'll let you watch it at
Movies.
Christmas.
as a treat.
As a treat. One special as a treat. You get a small watching of Christmas of Chicken Run.
Well, yeah. With that, I have been Dan.
I have been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
And you can find this podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well. Let us know what you think of Chicken Run. Like, let us know. Is Chicken Run an Easter movie or a Christmas movie? I'll put up a poll.
There's no. Everyone's going to agree with you. No poll.
No, they won't.
Yeah, they will. No poll.
Confirmation bias.
Yeah, no poll. It's a Christmas movie, and everyone that says otherwise is wrong. I almost watched the other Chicken Little.
No.
Like I genuinely, I was like, "Is it Chicken Run?" Right? Yeah, I almost watched Chicken Little. In my head, it was Chicken Little. It was called Chicken Run, and I was like, "This is why are you guys talking about?" Oh yeah, the build up to recording. Very different film.